Then in verse number 19, Allah says, أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving another example. So in the previous verse we saw the example of water, the example of fire. Now Allah is giving the example of kasayyib, the example of water pouring from the sky, a heavy shower, a heavy rain. Okay, but this rain it's like a rainstorm. It has darkness in it. In a dark night when there is a rain, so there is a darkness. But this is a rainstorm. So there is a thunder and lightning also appearing. Ra'dun wa barq. It's a thunder and barq. There is a lightning. يَجْعَلُونَ أَصَابِعَهُمْ. They start to place their asabi'. Asba' means one finger and asabi' means plural. So they started to put their fingers fi adhanihim, in their ears. Why? Min as-sawa'iq, against the thunderclap. They are afraid of the sound of the thunder. Why? Hadar al-maut, in dread of death. They are afraid of death and they don't want to hear these things. They are just putting their fingers and blocking their ears. But Allah says, Wallahu muhitun bil kafirin. This will not avail them because Allah is encompassing. Muhit means when somebody encompasses from all sides and there is no way to escape. Wallahu muhitun bil kafirin. Allah is encompassing the disbeliever. So, see again in this verse is full of activity, full of a graphic depiction of the situation of the munafiqeen. And this graphic description is full of energy, lights, thunder. You just visualize the scene here, right? A dark night, but then there is a rain. And this is the example of the Quran again. The Quran is full of energy, full of light, full of water, full of thunder, heavy sounds, and the benefit. So just when you think of water and a rain and thunder, you see this variation. And the rain and the light and the water is the source of life. In our physical sense, water is a source of life. No water means there is a death, right? So Quran is the water of the heart. No Quran, we are all dead. There is no way we can live. So this is the life of the heart. The physical life is the water, and the metaphysical life and the spiritual life is the Quran. But this life requires some sacrifice, requires some efforts. So it has the element of thunder, strongness, strictness. This Quran is a strict Quran. It requires establishing truth on the earth, and that means there will be opposition, and that means you have to resist the opposition, and that means you have to put an exercise and effort to convey to the disbelievers. And hence the munafiqeen in front of this strictness of the Quran, they are unable. Whenever there is a call for jihad, you have to now participate to convey this message to the people who has some elders on them. There will always be a community of laymen who are willing to accept Islam, but in that community there are some elders, some evil elders, some leaders who are subjecting this mass population into their leadership and exploiting them. Like Fir'aun, he was exploiting a huge population into his service. And Islam wants to come in the middle of this community and hits those leaders and saying that you are standing between this mass population and accepting them into the Islam. And this is not right. So either you became a Muslim and let those mass population also enter to the Islam, or we're gonna fight you. And that's the whole essence of the jihad. Munafiqeen in this project, they don't want to participate. يَكَادُ الْبَرْقُ يَخْطَفُ أَبْصَارَهُم. That we'll see in the next verses there. Okay. So this is what happens to the Munafiqeen. That there is the benefit of the Quran, but they are dazzled by the thunder of this Quran. They see the value of the Quran, but they want a conditional way. And Islam doesn't allow this conditional way, that at the good time I am accepting the Quran, at the tough time. So Quran is not a book that one can take it partially. الَّذِينَ جَعَلُوا الْقُرْآنَ عِضِينَ. It's not a partial book that that you take these verses and then you reject the another type of verses. No, it's a whole package and you have to accept it. And the believers, when they accept the whole thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them the bounty of this Quran. The believers, they never take the Quran as something that is burden on them. مَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ لِتَشْقَى. Quran came to be rahmah and huda and mercy and guidance and gift and fruit of the heart, the coolness of the eye. This is the Quran and this is the hidayah, as we have seen in the first verses of the surah when Allah described the muttaqeen. But the munafiqeen, because the iman is not in their heart, what remains from the Quran is these tough instructions that hits them. This toughness of the jihad, toughness of zakah. Zakah means you have to give a money, and no one wants to give his money if the iman is not in their heart. And that's why when Ibn Mas'ud said, this munafiqeen, when they were with the Prophet ﷺ, even they put their ears, they don't want to hear the instruction of the Prophet. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu muhitun bil kafirin. And also this verse reveals another character of the munafiqeen, and that is the cowardliness. They are afraid. The muttaqeen and the believers, when their heart is full of the love of Allah, and they believe in the day of judgment, and they know that this dunya is a transient place, a temporary place, and if I die in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is awaiting for me in the hereafter is far better. So they don't care. They don't give. The dunya is not everything for the believers. The dunya is just a transit to the last destination. For munafiqin, no, this dunya is everything. So he is not willing to give his soul. He wants to enjoy as much as possible. You see, this belief in the akhirah makes these things easy for the mu'min, because he knows what is awaiting for them. But the munafiqin, this whole dunya is everything. That's why the death comes as a stopping for the enjoyment of this world. That's why they are afraid of these instructions. Hadar al-maut. But Allah says that it will not avail them. Allah is encompassing them from all sides. Muhitun bil kafirin. Wallahu muhitun bil kafirin.